guys, and welcome to my third book review so far in 2016. Today's book that I'll be reviewing is What We Saw by Hartzler. This book was a pretty quick read. It is young adult contemporary, and I love books that are about young people and that are coming of age, and young adult novels I really enjoy them. The first thought that I had reading the book was really bizarre, and I don't even know really kind of where it came from, but the book reminded me a lot of the movie, if you've seen it, Unfriended. It's like a horror movie, but it's all about young people and social media and what the kind of consequences are for actions that young people do, especially in this new age where there's a lot of this Instagram and this Twitter and this Facebook and all of this kind of thing going on, that there really is a cost now to what young people are doing that wasn't really there before. And I think What We Saw really catches up on this whole point. It starts out with the main character. Her name is Kate. She's at a party where there's a lot of people and everyone's drinking. She's at this party and she's drinking, and she admits in her narrative that she's quite drunk and she's having a good time and stuff. And you tell from the outset that there's a boy that's been her friend since she was 5 that she has a crush on, and it's pretty run-of-the-mill. She's about to leave the party because she's quite drunk, and then her friend, who she has a crush on, Ben, ends up driving her home. Something that emerges from the party is that there is a picture of another girl, or a series of pictures that are starting to circulate around social media and around the school as they go back to school, of her really, really drunk. And there's a particular photo of her kind of hanging over the shoulder of one of the main sports people in the school. His name is John Doon, but everyone calls him Dooney, which I think is so great that he has a nickname, and that there are a lot of characters that are called like their last name and that have like nicknames and stuff like that, because it's so accurate of high school. It did remind me a bit of Unfriended, because Unfriended, the movie, is based a lot around the whole social media, and they're all talking in a chat room, and I recommend you watch it unless you're really easily scared and creeped out. But I didn't think it was that scary. I just think it was actually a lot more accurate about life, apart from that they died or that they were dying. But the consequences that go with the stuff that we do to other people is a bigger deal now that social media exists. There's a higher cost to pay, and even the consequences of our own actions and decisions we make are a lot greater than they would have been like 5 years ago. Kate, I feel like Kate was a good character. I think one of the things that's really great about her is that her whole town seems to be on one side of the story and she sits on the other side. What kind of comes out of this whole kind of situation is that there has been a sexual assault done to the girl who is in the picture. Her name's Stacey, and everyone gets on the side of the sports people and says, you know, it couldn't be possible that they would do this, you know, they're too good, and people won't believe that they could be capable of something like that. But not because they're good people, but just because everyone knows them. And I think that that is like super accurate about life, because like we're all held accountable to our actions. We're all put through the same justice system, and I think it doesn't matter who you are, that stuff can happen to you. One of the things that the character Dooney does say is, when he's talking, he's referring to Kate, he says loyalty, I like that. And this whole kind of small town vibe I really just get, because I'm from a small-ish town, and I think you grow to know everyone in your small town, and this whole like undercurrent of we have to be loyal to our sports team, and we have to be loyal to each other and stick by each other, and that this whole assault case comes up and it's almost treated as like an attack on everything that is held valuable in this town. And Kate kind of sits separate from that and is kind of keeps us on the straight and narrow. She's the kind of moral compass, because she is uncomfortable with the fact that this is somehow made okay and that life is going on, and she notices everything. She notices when people are missing, that Stacey isn't around, and that the things her friend says, and she kind of wrestles with all of that struggle. And the whole undercurrent of peer pressure and that we need to do what everyone expects us to do is just huge. And I think the great thing is that finally for her is that she gets to a point and she says, no, this isn't for me, and she stands up for the right thing, which is so great. It's so rewarding as a reader to be a part of a character's journey when they are taken from being unsure of themselves to really just like flipping tables in a room and just letting it be that this isn't right and I'm going to do something about it. I have to say that the ending was really beautifully done. I feel like the story in itself, as it kind of unraveled, it was a little bit predictable, and I feel like that's something that kind of comes with this story. But however, the way the ending was incredibly genuine, real and accurate in terms of how it could have really gone in that situation. And I think what's really important about this book is that it is linked with a real life assault rape case in America, and you can research them along together. And I think the author has done an amazing job of taking us inside the story and not just giving us plain facts. Another book I read last year called Weightless takes you kind of along this journey. It's a similar kind of story, but it's a lot sadder and a lot more impersonal because the characters aren't in the story, and it's beautifully written and it's amazing, and I would give it a really good rating because it gives a different perspective. But I really liked this one, and the ending and how the gift that Stacey leaves for Kate at the end, and kind of the resolution of everything, and that it isn't what you would hope it would be, but it's accurate and real, is just so important. So it is really cool is the whole talk about consent and whether or not Stacey did consent to what really went on, and then Kate's own journey of consent between her and her boyfriend is really, really interesting, that they kind of go together and that it's mirrored together, this kind of to and fro of figuring out, you know, is it okay to do this if you don't have someone's consent, or is it, what is consent and what does that look like? And I feel like because of that, because it was compared to a real life situation, and because it is a bit dark but it is real for young people these days, and it deals with social media, I feel like this is an incredibly important book for young people. I feel like you should definitely recommend this to the young people in your world to make sure that they are reading something like this to understand the ramifications of what they do, that they don't have the luxury that our parents did, or that a lot of us did who are a little bit older, that you can kind of live your life and just let it be, but that social media doesn't let you forget a lot of the mistakes you've made. Given enough time, everything does change, but there is still a cost. I gave this book 5 out of 5 stars. I loved it. I was totally engrossed in the story. I recommended it to my sister, who I've talked about before, and she likes a lot of young adult novels. She's currently reading The Great Gatsby and struggling with it, so I was like, you could just read this. This will be good for you. I did really enjoy it, and I felt like it made me think about something deeper, which I really enjoy with a book, and I feel like you're almost missing out if you don't walk away with something like that. Like, there are books for enjoyment's sake, like books for book's sake, but this one is really set apart in making you think about real life things, making you really look into who you are and what would I have done in that situation. And I read a friend of mine who reviewed on Goodreads, and she said, if I had been there, I know I would have done something. And I think that's so bold to say that. I really like to hope I would have done something, and knowing who I am now, if I was back when I was in high school and I saw something like this happen, who I am now would have done something. But I don't know if who I was then I would have done something, and I love being able to think about that, because it's really challenging, like it's deeply challenging. And I think if I'd read a book like this then maybe it might have changed something for me as a young person. I would recommend it to a bunch of people, and I hope you guys read it as well. It's a really, really fun read, challenging but in the right way, and yeah, I'm excited to see what this author comes out with next. So if you would like to purchase what we saw, which I really think you should. I will leave a link down below for the book to purchase it yourself, and at least read the blurb and you will just be like, you'll be there. You'll want to know what happens. It's a really good story. And there are a few little twists that really kind of keep you on your toes, which I enjoy. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video.